as Kate said, amazing catalyst residency. I know loads of people applied, but the 3 very lucky people that did get those residencies are here. I just wanted to add that it was an epic journey trying to select. We could have had any of hundreds of people. However, we have 3 people here who are very different work, and we're going to talk to them today. First of all, we're going to start off with Azraa Motala, who is an amazing painter, and she'll talk to us about her work and how she's worked on that sort of process of residency. So Azraa, do you want to come up? We'll give her a round of applause. Yeah.
Thank you, Maddie, and thanks everyone for coming to listen to us to speak today. Tom, I think it skipped a slide. Oh, that's forwards. Is it? Oh, maybe it's not. That's fine, I'll start with this one then. Yeah, so I'm Azraa. I'm a visual artist from Lancashire. I make large-scale oil paintings, photography, poetry. I used to live in Ulverston from 2019 to 2021. So I kind of set out to create a project where I could look back on my time living in Cumbria, as well as amplifying the voices of global majority people living in Cumbria today. So I kind of started out by putting out a call out online, and I had about 15 women get in touch with me, and we had Zoom conversations, and we kind of unpicked a lot of their experiences of living in Cumbria, and a lot of that was quite heavy, kind of based on racism, microaggressions, and a lot of them kind of would end up quite upset by the weight of the things that they were telling me, because I think they felt like they were in a safe space so they could have this conversation. But alongside that, they still decided that Cumbria was a place that they want to continue living because of obviously all the beauty, and a lot of the communities are still quite warm in that sense, so they enjoyed living here. And so at the start of the project, I decided I needed to visit a lot of cultural institutions that I couldn't actually go to because when I was living here, most of it was during lockdown, unfortunately. So one of the places I went to first was Allotment Soup, run by Art Jean. And there I met a lot of people from around the world, a lot of them refugees who work in the garden, who volunteer in the garden. And it was really nice and humbling to listen to their stories, their background, the reasons why they've moved or they've had to come here, but also the struggles that they faced whilst living in Cumbria. One of them was an Iranian woman, and she told me about how she's been a vegetarian since she's moved because of the lack of halal food or meat available. So that's like 4 or 5 months where she's only been eating vegetables. And that was a struggle that I faced when I was living here as well, which was amplified during the pandemic, where we couldn't actually go to Preston or Manchester or Lancaster to get food. And also the lack of a prayer space and that sense of community that you get in other places in the UK, which was lacking in Cumbria. So that's something that they struggled with, and they still do struggle with today. But volunteering at Allotment Soup, it brought people together. They were able to kind of have coffee and cake and have conversations and make friends, and they'd kind of build a community, together from people from other countries, and I think the friendships kind of helped them living in this space, Next slide, please, Tom. So yeah, like I said, I couldn't actually go to a lot of these places when I was living here, but we visited Tully, Brentwood, and Abbott Hall with Kate and Maddie, which was brilliant. I got to see a lot of the places where I might be able to exhibit some work, and I saw lots of interesting paintings and works and had lots of interesting conversations with curators. Next slide, please, Tom. And then I went and kind of revisited places that I went to when I was living in Ulverston. So also taking reference pictures for my work as well that I was going to start creating. Next slide. And then this is the Furness Multicultural Women's Group over at Cook Studio. So I spent some time speaking with women there as well, and I kind of led an impromptu pumpkin painting workshop, because that's what they were doing at the time. So I was just helping them with their painting, and again, just having conversations, listening, and kind of compiling these stories and narratives and things that will feed into the work eventually, and continue working with these women later on as well. Next slide, please. And then obviously I went to Florence Paint Makers, and I saw the exhibitions that were on there, and I picked up some paint, which I think is really interesting that I get to work with paint from the region in my work as well. Next slide. So this is some work in progress. It skipped a few important slides, but I'll just talk about them instead. So this work is in response to the Dalton Islamic Centre that's been built, the South Lakes Islam Centre. And obviously there's been a lot of controversy surrounding it from far-right groups. And there's a lot of negativity online and a lot of kind of hateful comments. There was about 2,000 comments on one post, most of them hateful, but I think if you go on other posts as well, there is that balance of positivity as well. So in response to that, a lot of people would call it the mega mosque, so that's what I'm painting, kind of feeding into their stereotype and fears of Islamization in a sense. But I feel like the only way I can deal with that is through humour. So it's kind of just taking that and amplifying it for them, I guess. But there will be some text included in the painting as well. I think that will balance out both the positive and negative sides of the story, basically. Next slide, please. Was that it? Oh, well, there was another slide, and that was of my daughter, because she was born in December. So for me, the Catalyst residency has only just actually begun. So most of this work was before I gave birth, but yes, I've been on maternity leave for about 9 months now. And yeah, this is my first day not being with her. And yes, I'm just about starting again. So I'll be showing work at Art Gene in September next year. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you so much. And as Azraa said, there's a bit of feedback. As Azraa said, she's just sort of started. So I think I would say a large achievement of this Catalyst residency has been that Azraa has had a child. I think that's the greatest work of art that there is. Okay, I'm going to ask a few questions, and you've probably covered some of it anyway. Yeah. So we'll ask these questions to everybody, and then we're going to open it out to the floor as well. So can you sort of tell me really what the Catalyst residency has allowed you to do that you wouldn't normally be able to do?
Yeah, I think the Catalyst residency is so different to a lot of other kind of forms of funding that you get, or small kind of micro commissions, because it's a large amount of money that allows you to kind of have a focused time to create a large body of work, which for me means maybe 5 or 6 paintings over the course of a year, as well as research and workshops, which I'll be doing with women as well. But yeah, it's nice to just build on something that I was already working on before, which is really important to me.
Okay, that's good. I think it's really interesting that when we set up this Catalyst thing, for us it was astonishing to be able to give a chunk of money so you could just do your work. And I know I came here in 1989 to do a year residency with Welfare State International. It was funded by then Northern Arts. I would never have come here. I would have never stayed had there not been a large residency. And it allowed me to move my life here. So I think these things are really crucial. And I think if we want to be able to help creatives stay here, we need to be looking at these larger scale residencies. It is very difficult for organisations to get the money to do that. And it was fantastic that we could do that with the Cumbria Arts and Culture Network and the funding that came from the business sector. Sorry, it's not about me. Sorry, I'm talking. All right. What challenges did you face as you developed your project?
Well, I gave birth, so that was one of the challenges. So I've not really been able to paint as much as I would like. So I tend to paint about 9 o'clock at night. I get about 2 or 3 hours after she's gone to sleep. So that's one of them. But another would be, I think, dealing with such heavy topics can take its toll. So it's about kind of being able to support the women that I'm working with as well, and also support myself in that sense as well.
Yeah, that's crucial to be able to support yourself when you're working on edgy subjects, I think. Yeah. Something that you have to do as a freelancer. You end up having to do that yourself, which is quite interesting. You're not wrapped up with an organisation. So often residencies we make sure that we're hosting and looking after that sort of mental health of the artist that's working with us and all the other things that they need to do. You've said to us when you're going to present your work, which is here with us. We're also looking for other places that Azraa can put her work on. There will be a number of pieces. We don't know what they are yet, so watch this space, and we'll wait to see the full extent of her work. I also want you to sort of think about the pros and cons of being a freelance artist.
So being a freelance artist is all I've known anyway, but the pros are that you get to make work that you love, you get to do something that you love every single day, and you kind of get paid to do that as well, which is nice. The cons would be, again, the stream of money is not always steady. There's going to be maybe 6 months or something where you're not actually getting paid for anything. But also the constant kind of making applications, and then sometimes like the negative feedback. You're not always getting the things that you apply for. But you just got to kind of crack on, I guess.
Good stuff. And then the only other question I've got before we open it to the floor is, what's next, I would say, beyond doing the residency for Catalyst and exhibiting?
So beyond this, I'm already working on other commissions as well, which will be opening in a museum in 2027. So the next few years are already kind of lined up for me. But yeah, I'd just like to kind of continue making work and then maybe go on to further study when I can, and yeah, just carry on.
Lovely, that's great. Thank you. Shall we open it over to the floor now? Yeah? Do you want to do the mic thingy? Yeah. Has anybody got a question they'd like to ask Azraa? Hello, over there with the keep calm and let the, what that say? The Dutch girl handle it. Lovely. Excellent T-shirt.
Hi. I was just wondering, how do you going to incorporate the chats you had with all these people you told about when you first started talking? How are you going to incorporate that into your work?
Yeah, so it's a relationship that I'm kind of continuing to work on. Like I said, that was at the start, and for me, this is still the start of my project. So we will be having workshops together and working on maybe some small pieces of work together as well in the future. And also just kind of listening to their stories, which all sort of kind of intertwine, and everyone has these shared experiences. So things that I've also gone through, they've been through. So through the work, that can all kind of comes together in a sense.
Anyone else?
That painting, well, I started making this painting upstairs.
I'll just repeat that. How big is that painting and where is it?
Okay, so this painting, I built a canvas upstairs in my house, and then I realized I couldn't actually take it downstairs. So I had to take it, well, my husband helped me take it apart because I was about 8 months pregnant at the time. And we took it downstairs. So it's in my living room. Thankfully, there's some bifold doors there that I can kind of tilt the painting and get it out, because it's 8 foot on the longest side and I think 6.5 on the other. So it's the biggest one to date.
The biggest one so far, because the others are big already, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought it went with the whole mega mosque idea.
Yeah.
But you have done some very larger works.
Large, yeah. So
just explain about the other works that you've done.
Yeah, other works. I mean, I've had banners on buildings, and they've been maybe like 7-8 meters hung on all across Lancashire and in London as well when I was studying there. But a lot of paintings as well. One that everyone kind of knows is 6 foot by 7 foot, so they are big.
Okay.
How do recent public political events affect your thoughts about whether they do or not, presenting your work over the course of the next year? And what do you need from the community to help support you?
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the slides didn't come up, but it was a photograph of me taken at Governor's How in traditional kind of South Asian clothing, where I'm holding the Union Jack, basically. So, in a sense, it's not working. I'm not sure. Is it? I don't know. It's not going back. I'm not sure. No, I don't know. It skipped a few, but it's okay. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought. Sorry.
So the photograph of you.
Yeah, and obviously things are quite tense right now with the protests, the far right and everything. But for me, it's kind of about reclaiming something so that it can't be wielded against you in a sense. But the work, I guess, could rub people up the wrong way. But I mean, why should it? If it does, it means there's something that you need to work on, in a sense. Yeah.
So just further to that, with what Jack was saying, we're a mostly white audience here, and if there's anything that, what do you think we should take away and shout about more, or what do we need to be doing?
I think it's just like the idea that you might not always be welcome. You might not feel welcome in a place when it's not kind of catered to you. So for me, like, for instance, private views and events are always kind of centered around drinking and alcohol. Whereas whenever I have an exhibition, I make sure that there's like desi chai and things available instead. It's about kind of small tweaks and small changes that kind of include people. Well,
that's really good. That's good to hear. And I think there are many of the people that don't drink as well. So, I mean, do come to our next event. We'll see if we can get some chai organised as well. We tend to have plenty teas, but we'll try and get that and all. Okay. Any other questions from the floor there? No? Okay. Good stuff. Oh, somebody over there. Lady over there. That's it. Hi. Hang on, Sue.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Sue from Florence Arts. So I'm really, really grateful that you've mentioned Florence today. So one thing is, how's the paint?
Good, yeah, good paint that.
That's great. The other is, I just wondered if there are other works that you're working on for this Catalyst project, and what kind of things we can expect to see from those.
For me, I tend to work on one thing at a time, especially when the work is to this scale and the lack of space that I'm working in, and a little one rolling around on the floor as well. But I do have plans for 6 paintings in total, and the work that we'll be making together in the workshops as well. I can't say too much about the future work yet, but yeah, you'll have to kind of wait and see. But just expect lots of paintings, and hopefully they'll fill the room.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. That's great.
Hi, you've spoken about becoming a mother, and obviously you started the project before you had a child. What's their name?
Her name's Habiba.
Oh, beautiful. I just wondered whether you felt that being a mother has changed how you feel about the project, and maybe what you might produce.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed my life entirely. Do you know what I mean? And then you kind of, I find it really hard to remember things before giving birth. Do you know, like when something that big has happened to you in your life, and then you're kind of thinking, oh wait, what was I actually working on? But yeah, like the whole trajectory of my life's changed now, because I'm constantly just thinking about her feed times, her changes, her nap times, and then when she goes to sleep, that's the only time I can kind of nip away and work on something. But your mind's constantly busy with other things, so yeah, it's really weird not to have her here right now, and not me thinking about like her next meal or something.
and will you feed that into your work?
Yeah, I think definitely being a mother changes your life so much that it's going to kind of have an effect on the work that you make and your practice. And yeah, I'm excited to see where that might take me when I continue to do.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I think often we forget that half the population are women, and it does have a huge effect on your work. I don't have any children at all, so I'm not talking from experience. But likewise, Jack had a child during his residency. So I think the juggling of family life is a big thing. And it's so interesting for me to see that coming out in people's work. And I know that Azraa and I have been corresponding a little, and I've been constantly receiving photos of nappies hanging on lines and various other things, which I'm sure will come into it somewhere. And you know, the woman's experience is not hugely represented in art, and anything we can do to balance that up, all to the good, which is great. Any other questions at all? Last ones? No. Okay, great stuff. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Azraa. No doubt you'll all be back and see some of her work a bit later on when we come to show it. But thanks very much, Azraa Motala.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, everyone.